Good afternoon. It's DJ Sweetly. Let the Youth Live. I'm going to be hosting the show today with Christella and Leela. So hopefully they will join us very, very soon. Shout out to Live from the South Side. Now, there's been 40 deaths this year of young people who have bled to death on our streets. Good afternoon, Jade. How you doing, darling? Now, we are in a state of emergency. We've been in this state of emergency for a long while. Now, for anyone that's not already following us, please follow us up. Let the Youth Live. We're all about solutions to what's going on our streets. Solutions that keep young people alive. Big up to you, Jade. I'd love to get you on. If you can come on, request and come on the live, Jade. Because we need to be speaking to young people about the situation, any solutions that will work for young people. What are young people saying? Now, we have a campaign going for emergency public accessible bleed control cabinets and onboard kits. Now, it's a nationwide campaign. I mean, we're doing amazing, I must say, across the UK. But London are pretty behind. I'll have to let you know, Easy. Do you fancy coming on today? As we want to hear from the community. We want to hear how knife crime, gun crime is affecting you. How it's affecting, children that you know. How it's affecting people's lives, communities. Communities are riddled with trauma. People are traumatized. So many mothers losing their children. Now, the bleed control kits are a solution to keep people alive until the ambulance gets there. Because, for many years, we'd seen that people are bleeding to death on the street. These bleed control kits are registered with the London Ambulance Service. So when you ring 999, they can tell you, where to go, where they're located. Same standard as an ambulance. It's the best thing you could give anybody to keep them alive. Now, we need you all on board to promote this campaign, to get involved in this campaign, to make sure your community is safe. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being prepared. So that if something serious happens, you can keep somebody alive. So we could start hearing stories of young people still being here instead of passing away on the streets. Right, I'm going to take this live now. We've got Easy 77. All right, let's get you on. Accept. So the bleed control kits, like I said, they are a solution. They're a basic solution. They should be law. Hi, Easy. How you doing?
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
It's all right if I just keep my camera off because I was
of course.
right now.
Yeah. No problem at all, man. Thank you for joining us.
No problem, man. Good work. I've only been following you lot recently, but I love the fact that you're trying to make a difference because it's important that people try to do something because, as you said, it's cold red right now. It's a state of emergency, and one life is too much. We know this already, and it's affecting all of us in one way or another. I've got a son that's myself. So, it wasn't like this when we were growing old. When we were young, it was all right. It was still a bit dangerous out there, but it wasn't to this level.
Yeah, it's out of hand. The weapons that are being used, you know, you've got no chance with these weapons. They're designed, you know, to kill bears. And it's just like, yeah, there's
Yeah,
no, it's like a lifestyle now. It's frightening. So whereabouts are you
yeah,
then?
I think
Whereabouts?
so. Well, we're based in Northwest London. My organisation is called Hood. It stands for Healing Our Own Demographics.
Oh
It
wow.
yeah, it also
Yeah.
stands for helping others overcome difficulty. Um, we've got a team of about 8 or 9 young people working with us via the
Yeah.
government Kickstart scheme. So we've got a little bit of a workforce that are ready to make moves on certain projects, and like we'd like to maybe collaborate with you and see what we can do to try to help you do what you're doing. As I
That'd be
said to you,
amazing.
yeah, as I said to you, I mean, at the moment we've got the young people kind of leading the operation, so they're doing podcasts and stuff. So I think the first thing would be good is if you can come down and let's do a podcast with them, so they can get an understanding of what you're doing. And then
Yeah.
after that, we can see what we can bring to the table to assist ourselves in, healing our own community.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. Big up to you for all that work that you're doing. Yeah, it sounds absolutely amazing. I definitely will be up for that. Doing the
Where are you
podcast.
based?
I'm actually in Peckham,
Oh,
so
Peckham.
South
Okay,
London.
yourself stuff on that. Okay, so we're in Brent. So that's 2 hotspots, really.
Yeah.
Brent. I
Yeah.
said, look, one of my friends, his son got killed not too long ago on the way to school. So I had to go to that funeral.
Oh my
That was
goodness.
crazy. And I know that even like, I think one of the things that we underestimate is like the effects it has on the parents, because we're all, obviously we've lost a life, so we're all sad that a young person has passed away, but God willing that they may have gone, they hopefully they'll go to a better place. But then who's left over here to pick up the pieces? Usually it's a single mum, and like
Mm,
sometimes after that kind of mad ordeal that they've gone through, sometimes I think it's important for them even to go away and have a holiday or just try to
yeah.
get themselves together. But they don't have the finances to even do something like that. So we're also
Yeah.
trying to work to try to raise money to help these families, and even like send them abroad for a little 2-3 week holiday
Yeah.
after the funeral, so they can just get themselves
Mhm.
together, come out of the circle. Because
Yeah, no, that would be absolutely amazing. I don't know if your Wi-Fi's gone there. But I do know a guy called Robin, and I think he, oh, go on. So you cut out there. Right. Yeah, I don't know. We lost your connection. Oh,
apologies. Sorry. Can I
oh,
take
that's
your
all
name?
right.
Can I take your name again, please?
Yeah, it's Sweet
Uh,
Lee, DJ Sweet
Sweet.
Lee.
DJ Sweetie. Okay, so my name's Zico. I'm calling for our work phone, so some phone calls are coming through. My apologies.
Oh, that's all
And
right.
that's
Don't
what
worry.
just happened there. So I have to keep this one kind of short and sweet. But
Mhm.
as I said, if we can try to meet up at some point, even next week, that would be great. So I don't know. I'll PM
Don't
you
know
on.
about next week,
Is that too
but
early?
yeah, we're definitely because I'm. Oh my God, I'm just yeah. I'm always busy anyway, but
Yeah,
particularly now with this campaign,
yeah.
um, I want to check whether you have. Do you have any of these cabinets over in Brent?
No, we don't. And like, what I need to know is like, because for me, I mean, it sounds like a great idea, and it sounds like you're trying to do something which is 100% positive, yeah. In terms
Mhm.
of like how the whole thing works, where you
Yeah,
locate them, how you decide where you locate them, how do people have some training on what they have to do? I know there's a phone on there as well.
yeah, yeah. I can break that down for you.
Yeah,
So literally, the actual right, the kits,
yeah,
everything that you find inside the bag
yeah,
is everything that is on an ambulance. All
yeah,
right. So if the ambulance arrived and they were going to treat you for catastrophic bleeding, whether
yeah,
it is something in there for, say, you've been shot,
yeah,
right, so that it will help you won't pass away if you had a hole here.
yeah,
Now you have also if you had big wounds from stabbings, that would stem the flow of bloods. Then you've got just trying to think. Yeah, if you was involved in a road traffic accident. So it's not just for stabbings or
Yeah.
shootings.
Yeah.
It can be for road traffic accidents. So
Yeah.
hot spots for that. So it's down to the individual. If you were raising money to get a cabinet,
Yeah.
I mean, what I've done is I look at, well, I say hotspot areas. Every single area needs at least one cabinet as a minimum, right?
Yeah.
Ideally, you need the kits spaced out, I'd say roughly every 5 minutes. That's how many kits that our areas need. That's how many kind of cabinets. Now, the cabinets are quite a new invention. They've only been out for a year.
Yeah.
So that's why we've got across the UK, with our campaign with the Daniel Baird Foundation, we've literally got around 2,650 kits placed around the UK.
Can I ask a
Now,
question about sound? Has any of them ever? How long have they been out there? Has any of them ever been used?
yeah, 2 lives were saved maybe a month ago in Birmingham.
Wow.
And the police, literally, we had a rollout of these kits, right?
Yeah.
2 years ago. Right, this is how behind London is,
Yeah.
right? 2 years ago, we had a rollout. I think it was, hang on, a year and a half, maybe a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
So in London, central London,
Yeah.
City of London took a load of kits.
Yeah.
Pubs had them in central London. There was an actual official rollout of them, which we kind of believed would lead to, you know, more and more police having them, more. They saved a life the first week.
Wow.
Now, the problem with the police having them is due to, I suppose, confidentiality and bits and pieces. They don't actually report to us and say, oh, we saved another life. But we know the first week a life was saved straight away.
Was that one that the police had, or was that one that was on the road?
No, police. Now,
Okay.
we've only got, at the moment, one in a community. Right,
Where's
in the
that?
whole of London.
Where's
Right?
that?
On my road. East Dulwich Road.
Okay.
SE22, and we've got it
And
outside.
how much do they cost?
Right, the cabinets are £600, but that's including VAT, so dependent, because obviously if you're a official business, you should be able to get some of that off.
Yeah.
So £600 for that. The kits on their own are £96.
Yeah.
Now, there's other kits out there. But the kits that we are, you know, promoting and are part of the campaign are kits that have been approved by the ambulance service.
Right.
Now, the lady that I work with, Lynn, she won the Pride of Britain award for doing all of this. She was the one who, do you know, 4 years ago, we didn't have any kits. You couldn't have brought a kit anywhere here in this country.
Okay.
Right? My friend Lynn, her son was stabbed tragically. One stab wound to the heart.
Yeah.
He was literally right next to the hospital, and he didn't make it. And she kept wondering what, you know, he's perfectly healthy. He's a fit young man. How did that happen? Now, yeah, after speaking to her other son, who's a doctor, yeah, where was the first aid kit? The pub didn't even have a normal first aid kit, let alone anything that would stem bleeding.
Right. Right.
Now, personally, these kits should be a legal requirement of pubs, clubs, and I'm trying to get people together.
Yeah.
I say this on every podcast.
Yeah.
What I recommend, and not just for these bleed kits, but going forward, the things we've got planned for solution-wise, everybody needs to know who their local MPs are. Yeah. They need to be writing, and if anybody wants a template letter, I will give it to them. I've done one myself, and I've had 2 other people took me up on that offer, and our letter is going in front of the Home Secretary.
Fantastic work. Yeah.
The Home Secretary is already aware of the kits. She was in a photo recently, and she did say that they need to be everywhere, but she was aware of them 4 years ago. So it's a shame no action was done then, but I'm praying that she's putting her money where her mouth is, right? So we don't know going for, I mean, I'm praying. The law needs to be changed. You know, the councils need to be getting involved, but I'm not holding my breath. This is
Yeah,
why I'm doing a GoFundMe.
yeah,
We've raised the money for a second cabinet in a community, which is
yeah.
going into Peckham,
Right,
right?
right.
But you have to get permission to put these cabinets up, and that's an added stress that I'm having to deal with.
Are they put up on local businesses or are they put up on
You can put
point?
them wherever you want, as long as, well, you can't do it on a listed building,
Yeah,
and you need permission,
from
right,
the
from the owner or the council.
yeah,
But literally, where I'm at with the Peckham one,
yeah.
I raised the money. I've been waiting 4 weeks to get permission, and they still haven't done it. Now, considering how many boroughs we've got, how many of these need to go out?
But can we not just like speak to local businesses and ask them if you can put it on
Yeah,
on their walls?
yeah.
If that
Please
happens,
do that.
we wouldn't need permission from the council. We just need permission from the local business. Is that right?
If it's theirs, unless they rent from the council.
Yeah. So
Because that was my problem. I went to the Tesco's, but they were
yeah,
renting from. He was fine about it, and the
yeah,
Tesco's, but
yeah.
it was the council.
Right.
So yeah, so I've been having
I
a
mean,
little bit of.
for me, it sounds like a great idea, and I think that we should, it's our responsibility to get a couple of them up in Brent at
Yeah.
least,
Mhm.
And there's 600. That doesn't sound too expensive. It sounds as manageable. I mean, if the community comes together, they should be able to put 3 or 4 up with no problem whatsoever. I think that the proof is in the pudding. If it says save lives already, then that's a fact. I know that people will probably say, yeah, it's not addressing this, the it's addressing the symptoms rather than the actual cause, which is still it's
We
still
have
saving.
to, though.
Yeah,
We have to.
it's still saving lives. That's the main thing. Do you understand? And maybe even having them boxes all over the place will make us realize the true state of affairs at the moment. It's a reminder. So yeah, it's something that we definitely want to get involved in with you. What I'll do is I'll DM you my number and so forth. If you can give us a call for us to raise, 600, 1,200, or even up to 2,000, I don't think that's going to be a problem. And we can try to get, we're aiming, I think we can aim to be the leaders in London with this one and try to have free and Brent within no time.
That would be brilliant, because my vision, like I said, is to get them across London. My
Yeah,
GoFundMe is, campaign, the London campaign, the
yeah,
London community, because not only do they need to be outside businesses, they
yeah,
need to be on blocks. They need
yeah,
to be on the high street. Now,
yeah,
I'm sick of seeing the same places that people are being murdered in, the same streets, the same places, and still they're not putting cabinets, they're not putting, it's like we have to keep the young people alive
yeah.
while we sort out all the other solutions. If we don't think about keeping them alive, there won't
Yeah.
be any young people.
No, for real. I totally agree with you. All right, what I'm going to do then, because sorry, my apologies. I quickly dropped in on this because I'm at work at the
Thank you
moment.
for passing through. Yeah, really
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
It's nice talking to you. What I'll
And you
do is,
too.
as I said, I'll DM. Is it called DM? I'm a bit behind with all this technology. Is it DM or
Yeah, I
PM? I
think
don't
so.
know.
Yeah,
I'll,
gonna get
I'll send you my
DM'd, eh?
I'll send you my number, and
Yep.
then if you can give me a call, as I said, if you can come down and do a little podcast with the young ones we got here, I think they've got a whole heap of questions they'd like to ask too. And then what I'll do,
Brilliant.
them same young people at the moment, what I've got them doing is fundraising in the community. So it
Yep.
won't be a big deal for us to fundraise. I mean, they're doing a sponsored run at the moment,
Brilliant.
which is going on the 18th. I think they've raised about 2,000 for some stables. There's some horse stables we've got up the road.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're trying to get the horses secured there so they can do like horse riding for the special needs community and that kind of stuff. So that's one of the projects we're working on. But this is another one that's close to our heart. So if
Brilliant.
you can come down and do this podcast, then I can set them a task of raising another £2,000. We'll do a sponsor cycle or something like that. As I said, there's about 10 of them. That's all I've got to raise is about 200 each. That's 2,000. Bam, we'll get 3 of them up there in no time.
Fantastic. And then the other thing that we do as well is we do organise training as well
Yeah,
for use of the kits. Oh yeah, because that's what I didn't talk you through. Right, so the cabinet, literally, yeah, somebody's catastrophic bleeding, you ring 999, they will talk you through what you need to do,
So you ring 999
step
from
by step.
from your mobile phone or from the cabinet? Is it from the mobile
No,
phone?
it's from a mobile,
So you
mobile
ring 999
phone.
from mobile, and then you let them know that look, you've got these facilities
They'll
around
give you
you.
a code. Yeah, they'll give you
Okay.
a code so you
Yeah.
can get inside the cabinet. And then
Okay.
once you get in it, although
Yeah.
there is step-by-step guideline in there,
Yeah. They'll
they
talk
will
you through
talk
it,
you through it.
which is
Yeah,
much easier. Yeah. That
yeah,
sounds like a
but
great solution.
yeah. And then we also, the other thing we do to back all this up, is training.
Yeah.
Training sessions, what to do if somebody's catastrophically bleeding, how to use the kit, and also if you didn't have a kit, what kind of things you could use to keep somebody alive.
Yeah.
So it's, yes, so you're empowering not only, yeah, people who use, that, but
Yeah.
also going forward, if they come across anything, they, would know what to do.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I really do like the solution. It's great stuff. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to get back to work now. But
That's all right.
I'll be in contact with you hopefully within the next 24 hours.
Wicked. All right. Have a
Fantastic.
blessed
Have a
day.
great
All
day.
right.
Thanks for having me.
Keep
Take
up the
care.
great work. All
Yeah, you
right.
too. Take care.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
See you. Bye. Oh, bless him, man. Oh, I'm looking forward to working alongside him and the young people. I wanted to read out the message from Frost Levels as well. He says, I'm happy to donate a 3 days at the studio stroke hotel to help raise funds for a box for Croydon. Croydon are desperate for one. Croydon's one of the places I was speaking about where, again, a young person's lost their life on the same strip, the same place. So yes, that Croydon, oh my God, that would really please me a lot. If we could get one in Croydon. What I'm thinking, Frost Levels, if you're there, and he's saying, hopes go well, well done. You should be proud, stay safe, bless you, thank you. So Frost Levels, what I think we should do, if you write like an advert, look like a flyer, to say that 3 day in studio, and people donate. Right, so even if maybe to donate to the GoFundMe, so we do like a flyer. So I'm not sure if you're there still as well, but yes, Jade says that the kits they also save from other accidents. Yes, and for an example, I know a guy who was at home and he was pulling out a washing machine, and while he did that, he yanked it, pulled it out, and he got cut, and his main artery was cut in his hand or his arm. Luckily he was okay. I can't remember if he had, I don't think he had but it just shows you that even at home, I mean, I carry one of those kits in my car. I've got one in my car because I don't know, I could go anywhere and something's happening. So it's about empowering ourselves, about, coming together in unity, being prepared, in case, something bad does happen to somebody, catastrophic bleeding, and we're not just going to allow them to pass away on the street. We're going to help them. Now, ambulances take, if you're lucky, between 6 and 7 minutes to come on average, and that's for catastrophic bleeding, people who need serious instant intervention, and that's if you're lucky. But the actual stats of that is not quite 6 to 7 minutes. It's more like 15. Now, if any of us needed, help from an ambulance, we're catastrophically bleeding, or people that we know, if we wait 15 minutes, we're not going to make it. We have to have intervention. These cabinets will give the public the chance to actually get involved and try and save lives. Now, the other thing I want to touch on, because I didn't actually mention that to Easy actually, was that ideally you want cabinets that have bleed kits and defibs in them, okay? They are the ultimate lifesavers. They are more expensive. I've teamed my installations of the bleed control cabinets with defibs. So in the Tesco's, they already had a defibrillator. So we've got that, plus we've got the bleed control cabinet outside. So I'm not sure if anybody wants to come on the live. But yes, we have a GoFundMe running at the moment. We would love people to share, to donate, because we want these cabinets across London. Or, you know, raise the money with your neighbour, with your friends, just to make sure that your local high street has got one of them. If we wait for the government, if we wait for the council, we'll still be here in 10 years, man. We will still be here. Massive shout out to Aisha. How are you, my darling? Good to see you on here. Love to get you on the live. I really would love to get you on the live. So request if you can, all right? But yeah, the GoFundMe. So we need support. We need it shared. Like I said, we're looking to get these across the UK. Yeah, me too. Always active. Yeah, that's us. So yeah, I just want to big you up, Aisha, doing exceptional work in our communities. And that's what it's all about. The right people doing exceptional work, working together, you know, for a common, you know, common interest is to save our children's lives. They need to be able to be children. They need to be able to go out and be able to have fun. This is not right. And it is down to all of us to be accountable. I wondered if he was at work, Aisha. But just to say, there's so many solutions. We need people to come together, get involved. Get involved. Now, I said this earlier, I would like all of you, whoever watches this, anybody who's, you know, been on the live, to please contact your MP. Do it as soon as you can. Find out their name, for starters. If you haven't ever written to them about knife crime, gun crime, what's going on our streets, or these bleed control kits, get onto your MP. Now, I will give you a template letter so that you can, the same letter that I've sent to my MP, the same letter that other people have sent to their MP. This one is for the bleed control cabinets and getting the law changed. We've got other templates. Just tell us what it is that you want to contact the MP regarding, and we will assist you. So all you have to do, let's make it as simple as possible. You know, you just have to find out their name, send it, you write who it's to and who it's from, okay? Now, what we're working towards is law changes within the system. Aisha's saying we taught over 100 young people first via Zoom during the first lockdown. Wow, amazing. Zoom is brilliant though. I did a, what did I do last week? I did stop and search workshop. Absolutely brilliant. Oh wow, amazing. So I know, what other things do you do, Aisha? Do you want to put up on there? All right, let's have a look. Let's keep it going. 3, 4, 11 to 25. First date. That would be brilliant. I'd like to get trained up, you know, like I did the bleed control training and I've got a certificate, but I'd love to go out there and, you know, teach people the skills to do it and what they can do if they haven't got kits. So it's all about, you know, putting things in place. I've just remembered one of the other things that I've advised people to write to their MPs about is about making first aid and self-defense mandatory at school. Now, I know for a fact that schools can put in lessons what they want. They've got spaces within their day, so they could They could be doing self-defense every day. They could be doing first aid, I don't know, once a week until people are fully skilled at it. Now, if we all from different areas across the UK start writing to our MPs, I've got faith we will get something done. But it's about attacking the things that we know are necessary. Yeah, well, all I've got is the letter that I sent, but that is a template. But yes, the more people we get doing it, so what I'm visualizing, one person gets something sorted in their area. It's going to have a knock-on effect to the next area and the next area and the next area. But literally, so I've written, I mean, I've not had a response from my MP, and this is the other thing why I'm advising people to have a go, because it might be like with me. I've written a few times just before September, and I've had no reply. I'm expecting a reply, but the other people that did theirs around about the same time have all had responses. They've had responses. Things are getting passed to the Home Secretary. So it's the way forward. I know the only way we will get change, it's not going to be from marching. It's going to be from, you know, getting the law changed. Right, Aisha is saying youth engagement. Yep, definitely. I'll sort out the letter that I've written, but I am, like, as soon as I get a reply from my MP, then I'll be doing the other letters. I've got some, you know, I want to do some for education. There's a lot. But I mean, I need to big up every single person that has taken part in the podcast for however many months this year. We've had some wicked input. We've had people, you know, putting loads of solutions forward that, you know, they lined up with the solutions that we already had. So we know that they're going to work. We know that they work. Our priority is the here and now. So yes, that would be first aid. That's going to be the life-saving bleed control cabinets. That's going to be patrols. Now, Aisha, what's happening with patrols in your area? Because I know there's been a few patrols set up. I'm looking to do something, but to be honest, the police should be involved. It should be like, what we want is less stop and search and more community policing. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, the Met Police are the worst for it. Do you see the other police forces around the country? It's like their priorities are different to the Met Police. The Met Police are not even going after the big drug traffickers. They're going for all the street level, you know, the young people, the ones on the street. The big criminals aren't out on the street. They're not there. So, you know, we've got things that we need the police to fix up about as well as ideally they should be, you know, sacked and retrained and brought back. Right, I'm going to take the live, all right? So, right, it's Aisha. Okay, right, let's take this. Okay. Right, so I'm just adding up Aisha now. That's amazing. Right, what's she written? We work with parents.
Can't really see me.
Oh, that's all right, my darling.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, just busy, man. You know what it's like. It's non-stop, isn't it?
It definitely is.
Oh.
Definitely is. Back to what you was just saying about that should be the police should be getting involved as well. Hold on. The police should be getting involved. If they're understaffed and stuff, they should definitely be working more with people like that are doing these patrols or wanting to do these patrols. I know they all go to the meetings and stuff. I know they're all active in the meetings together.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, we don't know what their intention might be rolling forward into next year or so. I don't know. But I know that they do attend the community patrol meetings down here.
Yeah, because I've been like, I knew Brixton, they've had one for ages and they've been doing school patrol. I've always tried to push that, you know what I mean? Because I know our kids need to be getting to and from school like safely.
Hmm.
Um, I've reached out to quite a lot of people over the years, certain individuals, to try and get advice, how to set something up, how do we. But the more I've looked into it, because my issue is the safety of the people doing the patrols, right? Because of the weapons that are coming out. And literally, I wasn't even face to face to it. I was behind in my house, and an incident kicked off. I didn't know what was going on, but when I looked out my window, Aisha, um, there was loads of them in balaclavas, weapons bigger than them, and I shit myself. I'm behind a window,
Hmm.
and then I'm having that. Hang on, this is what people up, you know, like on the street, like you go to do your shopping, your kids on the way to school, and we've got this. Wait, what chance have people got against these weapons? We need the police. The police
Yeah,
need
that's
to be
why
there.
there has to be that community police liaison. They have to work together on this because some situations you can handle, other situations it's bigger than yourself. Like you said, the
Yeah.
weapons were bigger than them. Let's just, try to remain positive, I suppose, and hope that all of the good work that the grassroots organisations are doing
Hmm.
is recognised higher up and they get the support that they deserve. Let's
Yeah.
just hope that. But as I said, with the community school patrols down here, they had a meeting yesterday, I think, as well in Croydon. So, there's progress being made in that department. I just liaise with specific people that are running services that we want to engage with as the safe zones that so I don't know the ins and outs of the meeting because I wasn't there, but I know there was one yesterday, and I believe that they definitely work closely with the Lambeth Street Patrol because that's
Brilliant.
really what needs to happen. Just like with the police, they're in every borough.
Hmm.
The presence of certain organisations and services need to be in every borough for this to work.
Yeah. And they need to liaise between each other. Yes. So it's a unit, and it's the same in each, but it's throughout the whole. It needs to be like that, and we definitely
Yeah.
need the police involved. I'm bloody hell over this side. I can't even get a response from the police. Like, yeah, it's crazy over here.
If
Like,
I'm honest, my Renee from Croydon Community Leaders, she liaises with the police more than me, so I more so would liaise with the
oh,
services and the businesses. So what our plan is basically for every ward to
mhm.
have a safe zone.
Yeah. Could you explain, even though I know what they are, just for anybody that's listening, just talk to us about safe zones and what it is, and how long you've been, working on that.
Um, Really, we started working on it about, I think it was 2015 or 16. So as a parent of a young person at the time, um, if I wasn't out in the community in a certain way, I wouldn't know about certain organizations. First aid was always a top priority for us because we was fed up of seeing young people dying on WhatsApp videos and on the
Yeah.
news just outside a local shop on the local high street. I was working in Croydon at the time, and it was like for about a week, there was just flowers every morning,
Okay.
flowers, police tapes, like different spots of Croydon. So, there is this rush for Croydon now because it's trending. But I'll
Hmm.
be honest, knife crime has not stopped trending. Death hasn't stopped trending in Croydon.
No.
I've had young people run to my house soaking wet because they've had 13 guys chase them
Oh my
from
God.
Croydon down to where I live, which is a good 10-minute walk, 15 on a stroll.
Yeah.
So they've run past. Look at the young boy, rest his soul, Jermaine, the other day.
Oh, I know. This.
Do you know how much people he walked past injured
No.
to,
Don't.
on the main road, just there do you see what I'm saying? So we've
We've
always
got to
been
get
about.
cabinets up there and kits.
That's just
Like
what I'm
on that
saying. So we've
stretch.
always been about accountability and taking accountability. Okay, I can't feed every young person that maybe needs feeding or clothing, but do you know what? If I give them that skill of first aid, if we work
Yeah.
with them, then possibly we can't stop knife crime. Knife crime's been happening since the craze were around.
Yeah.
Knife crime isn't a colour, it's a thing,
Hmm.
and it's
Yeah.
always been here. If we all want the same thing, we should all be pulling together and saying, right, I've got this service, this is what I can do. You've
Yeah.
got this service, this is what you can do. So with us, what we're trying to do is work on the causes.
Hmm.
But you know, we do clothes donations, food donations, stuff like that to young people
Brilliant.
in hostels, people in domestic violence situations, my neighbours. Charity begins at home. I'm very charitable to my neighbours. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're trying to work and build that same, you know, like just put it back into the community. Like we are all, doesn't matter what colour we are, we're all the same. If it affects me, it's going to
Yeah.
affect you. So
Yeah.
we work with first aiders, we work with mental health first aiders, we work with life coaches, we work with, you know, we have parenting workshops. We work with young people that are just, you know, just broke out of county lines, young people that are still in it. We work with a range of people to try and really get to the root of what's the problem and what can we do to help you. What can you need? All right, you want to look for a job? We'll try and find someone from the grassroots organisations or a local shopkeeper. Are you taking on anybody? Direct them to the service that they need. Keep engaging with them. We do a lot, you know. We work with Defenders Entertainment and CYL.
Oh,
They
right.
run
Yeah.
programs. They run programs for young people there. At the moment, we also have tried to use county lines in a positive way. So we work with YMCA Trinity Group in Ipswich.
Yeah.
So they bring young people down the county line to Ipswich to New Cross or to Croydon, because
Oh,
that
wow.
line is used a lot for negative. So we
Yeah.
bring them down and they have days in the studio. They speak to artists. They've recorded songs. We've done photo shoots with them.
Wicked.
Yeah, so it's a lot. We're trying to do a lot, but we're not trying to do it alone. This is what, like,
Yeah.
we want to work with everybody that's out there, because I might know someone that you know or you don't,
Mhm.
that doesn't know about us, and vice
Mhm.
versa. So
Yeah.
I might not be able to teach first aid to you, but my friend can. So here you go.
Yeah.
We work with street doctors. They provide us with our first aid training for free
Hmm.
for 7 to
Brilliant.
25-year-olds. And we are in negotiations with another organisation that will help us to teach eventually the shopkeepers and stuff
Brilliant.
to do first aid. We also do want to support any fundraising for bleed kits, knife amnesty boxes. Like, we just want to support
Hmm.
knife crime initiatives and saving young people's lives and bettering them, you know, like
Yeah.
get them to be professional in whatever it is they deem to be. So for example, like, there's a lot of young people that have animals, they have dogs, very well trained.
Hmm.
They don't realize that that could be your calling. You could be making money from that. So, you know, take them into a different world, take them to a dog show even, and show them, like, look,
Yeah.
people get paid for that. Exposing them to different things. Not everybody wants to work in an office doing IT. Not everyone wants to work in a supermarket. So sometimes you've already got your calling inside of you, but we need others that are like-minded to call
Hmm.
these young people out, so they don't feel like their calling is knife crime, because they don't all get
Yeah.
into it. It's their gang.
Mhm. Yeah. No, it's so
They
true.
don't.
We've got a message here from Amina. She's saying Aisha is selling herself and this initiative short. Yes, she certainly is. I know. The Safe Zones initiative is an underrated and undervalued initiative. Now, I'm the first one to say that as well, right? All I know for all these years, from the first day I heard about the Safe Zone initiative, is something I have visualized that should be everywhere, Aisha.
And that is it.
That is
That's why it's
something
Safe
that,
Zones UK. Yeah, we've
yeah,
stepped it
it's
up a bit.
rolled out.
We've definitely, where it started,
Hmm.
it started in a WhatsApp group, to where it is.
Hmm.
We just want to work with the right people. That's all it is. We're not here to be like, oh, I'm not doing everything. I can't provide all of the services. But,
Hmm.
you know, as I said, I live down the road from, I'm not going to name drop, but I live round the road from certain places that should be providing certain services for people in the community.
Yeah.
As I said, I've got a 21-year-old, so I've lived through this, and I've got an 11-year-old going to secondary school. I'm going
Wow.
back
Yeah.
into that
So
same
yeah.
cycle again. So, you know, I've never had anything free. If I didn't have social media, I wouldn't know that these places even existed and what
Yeah.
they done. Nothing
Mhm.
comes through no one's door no more. Like
No, you're right.
we have to go back to basics with this. We have
Now,
to go back to basics with this.
Croydon have got that. You lot have got a lot there already, right?
Yeah.
You know, like service wise and all that. I literally was shitting myself, really. Like when I looked round where I am and what there is, I was like, hang on, where is it? How are we going to get that? What are we going to, you know? Thankfully, I went on a 2-day training course last week, and this is a new initiative as well, which I think is wicked, right? And I'm envisioning this to go massive as well. Parent championing, right? I'm the first, I think it's the first group, and literally they train the parents up to help other parents who can then help other parents and train them up. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It should have been happening years ago, and not only should it be in secondary school, it should be in primary as well. So parents at least have, you know, ways of helping themselves, accessing support. But you see, in lockdown, the services, there were services missing here, like mental health service, even the youth justice service. There was things I was looking for anyway. And they've literally set up in lockdown, thank God. So, you know, there is some services, but we need patrols organised. We need, you know, there's not really any opportunities. I've been told about one place in Peckham, but I just, and it's the safety of the young people.
Yeah, and that's why, as I said, we work with mental health first aiders. We work with Cobra Defence as well. We've just been in talks with them about self-defence. So they do women-only classes, they do parent and child classes, they do knife. I don't know the name of the course exactly, but it's basically if someone's trying to stab you, they show you how to defend yourself.
Yeah, we need that. They need them type of classes, right? That and the first aid. And I truly believe this, and I am definitely going to be writing to schools about this. I'm going to attempt with the 5 schools that I'm meant to be, you know, parent championing in, but I'm going to attempt this. I want them to put it in their curriculum.
Definitely.
Now, if we could get,
or even in if for enrichment, you've got to remember as well, like if we can get people to do, even if it's like first aid, or because people are doing these things for free, if we can find them and get them to offer that enrichment after to schools, like why would they refuse it? And then maybe when they see the demand for it, then they might find the funding to fund it next time round, and people can
so you do, it's like a taster. Because I'm happy to go, anything that I can do, you know, like I would do it for free. You know what I mean? Just to give people, so they're armed with information and they can make, you know, good choices from that. So I think that's a brilliant idea. So 3 workshops to start off with. Because things like even healthy relationships, like that is so necessary. You know, so people know, you know, what's going on in certain relationships, friends and, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend, and, you know, but definitely the first aid essential and the self-defense. So at least the kids are, you know, prepared for these, you know, that could happen. And so
definitely,
I think that's brilliant.
It's important that the children and the parents are armed, and, you know, we all start to, as adults, take accountability. I'm a different parent now than I was when I was 21. I had my first child at 20, my next one at 30. Next one was at like 33 or something. Was it? Something like that. So we grow and we learn, but because of I'm fortunate to have a good friend circle. I'm fortunate to have good parents that are just open and honest, but not everybody's got that. So that parent champion championing is really, it's kind of like love thy neighbor kind of thing, how it might have been many years ago when, you know, it wasn't where we are now in society. When you did look out for your neighbours and you did see her over the road, kids looked a bit hungry, so you broke off a bit of bread and a bit of stew and said, "Here, have that."
Yeah.
It is
and
more.
That's what it needs to go back to. We need that. We have to have that.
Yeah, definitely. So it will work out. It all has to work hand in hand, and that's what the Safe Zone's about. We're all about, like, that's why our logo is a helping hand. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's what.
Yes, yeah.
Just so happens to have my jumper on. Just so happen. Can you still?
I want one of them. I'm gonna
you
get
can
one.
have one, babes.
I fully promote Safe Zones, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. And as I said, anything that you're doing, I promote and I support.
You always have, like, from day dot, man.
Day one,
so
yeah.
It's never been
Definitely.
unnoticed ever. Like,
Definitely.
bless you for that support.
Yeah. And don't forget, you know, you Croydon community leaders, they do weapon sweeps and ride outs with the police. So if you ever wanted to go and just see how that operates as well, you know, that'd be really, that's another good thing that they do in terms of
I did spoke to Renee. I spoke to Renee recently exactly about all of that.
Yeah.
Because obviously that needs to be happening here in this area and obviously all other areas as well. So and
the thing is, it's like everyone, not every part of the initiative is for everybody. So for me and the ride outs, it's techie. Engagement wise is fine, but it's techie for me and the ride outs, because I just feel like I want to see you in your natural form at all times. When you're so are you going to be your natural self with us there? So Renee is better, that's her initiative, she rides out with them. I liaise, you know, when we have our meetings and stuff like that by email and certain, I'll be honest, Zoom was actually really good for us as well. I was able to attend so many meetings that I couldn't necessarily physically attend. That was good for me, you know. So like violence reduction unit and mayor's office, little meetings that they were having about their plans to go forward and knife crime. It's really interesting to sit down, you know, get the paperwork afterwards and go through the stuff and say, okay, all right, this is what you're saying you're going to do. So then that's where the accountability
reality of is it? Actually,
is it really that?
But we're just going to read out a few comments as well. What have we got? Amina saying trauma therapy. The parents are carrying trauma and so are the kids. Yep. Now, talking about that, a guest that I had on a couple of weeks ago, Stephen Graham, who he talks about the trauma that everyone should be under the trauma response, so that people who, like the police, all the different services, he suggests that they all need retraining to deal with traumatized people.
Sorry. Speaking of trauma, I'm not gonna. It's not like what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. The police are also traumatized people. Yeah,
I'd never thought that, but yes, you're right.
And that is through engaging with them at certain points during, you know, certain workshops and events that I've been to. You think about it, like they're sometimes the first people on certain scenes of certain things, and we're only thinking knife crime. They see a lot of stuff in it. They are also traumatized people. When they take off their uniform and go home, they're a mum, they're a dad.
Yeah, we don't really think
they're a grandparent. They have, and you know, and that's where, you know, them dealing with certain negative things every day in terms of their job. You know, they want to, you know, they want to make a difference and stuff, and they're coming out here, they're being abused, they're being threatened, they thought they was going to get shot, run over, whatever. They're going home to their family of children, whatever, and they're releasing their unconscious bias also onto their household because of what they're dealing with. You see the cycle?
Yeah, yes,
It's actually quite a deep cycle. So they are also traumatized people. So therefore, well, like you said before, they do need retraining. They might need mental health first aid as well. That might be, you know, what it could be the key factors here that's missing with reforming the police.
Yeah. The other thing, because we've spoke about this, one of the things we have spoken about on the podcast before was, about retraining the police, and then it was like, how would we retrain them? Because who would train them? It'd probably be old school policemen again. So we'd have to think about that. Who could train them? I know, what's his name? Safezones.
Yeah.
I know he could definitely.
He's been doing training with them.
Yeah.
I think Donna Marie Turner from down here, she's done training with them.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me, it's probably a few more people that could have possibly, but it is a constant thing.
Yeah.
It's a constant thing. It's like, it's even to the fact of having maybe an office or a space within their space where you might be able to unload a bit before your next round or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
like traumatized people, policing traumatized people.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and this is like, I'd never thought along them lines, really, like I said, until I had Stephen on, and I'd read both of his books as well, because oh my goodness, I've read 2 of his books. One was very deep, actually, Through the Eyes of a Gun.
I've heard of that, but
yeah, so it's all about, it's the gun that's talking.
Yeah.
And then the second book he did was that's recent, is he got put in prison in Jamaica. But because of that, he's now doing another documentary about the conditions in Jamaica. So hopefully, because it sounds horrific, like we think we got problems in our prisons here, but over there, my goodness. But yeah, he talks about trauma, and it's, that's the trauma approach. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
Yeah,
the trauma approach. Yeah. So
yeah.
I was very interested, but we only slightly touched on it. So I am going to pick his brain again about that, because I believe that. And I mean, he also thinks that we have a street culture is what we're up against, rather than loads of gangs. But it's actually a culture that
it is. I see what he's saying. I do see what he's saying, but I live in Croydon. There's loads of gangs as well. You know what I mean? There are a few, and I'm probably not up to date with them, if I'm honest. If I'm honest, I'm probably not that up to date with them. But just from and when I say gangs, let's say groups even, because for example, there's different groups of people that spot on different sides of the road. Are they gangs? Or am I stereotyping?
Or they just,
I mean?
Just happen to be standing together, a group of friends. Yeah.
It could possibly be that, but it definitely is turning it is turned into that, where it's cool to be like that. You kind of aspire to.
Yeah. And then we've got all the mainstream radio stations, everything, like the big platforms, they're pushing that lifestyle. They are, they're perpetuating the violence.
Yeah.
And we talked about that a lot, and everybody said, something needs to be done. But we've got 2 lots of law coming through, but I'm not holding my breath on whether it's going to actually, even though they're going to be fining the platforms something like 18% of their global income, but it's the logistics of it, because I can't actually believe it. The UK have decided they're going to take on social media, big platforms. Even the US haven't attempted this. The UK, this is what they're doing. The legislation's already in. They're tweaking it, and they've had, oh my goodness, I've watched a few of the parliamentary meetings, because I just wanted to know what, and literally they haven't even got definitions together of what harm is. So, and they're going to have to get specialists in and all that. All the specialists that were talking kept saying that we could literally be taking people to court ourselves. We don't really even need new law. Apparently we can do it all, a lot of it, through the civil courts, where the, like monetary wise.
So are they're punishing the stations for playing the music or the artists for making the music?
It's the platforms. So it's going to be platforms with over 100,000. It's mainstream radio. It's going to be, and I suppose it's whoever reports it, and then it's going to go, it's just mad. So you know it's going to cost a lot of money to start with, right? It's going to cost, yeah, unbelievable amount of money. They've got to get specialists in to actually write what the law is, and then you've got to actually get people convicted or whatever for, and it's going to go through Ofsted, but the Home Office is actually overlooking it all. So Ofsted haven't even got the final say. So I don't know. It's to get money, but we could be using the civil law. That's what the specialists were saying. You know, like the law of negligence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, crimes against kids or social media related things. But that's something I'm going to look into, whether we need to amend the law, because it says we can do it ourselves. We don't even need anyone. We can actually, and I read there was the first case recently of, it was a murder case, and I think twice it went for a retrial as well, and they lost the case, and one of the relatives took it through the civil court, and they got a big payout. Well, no, obviously it's not going to compensate for life, for the person's life, but they actually got a big payout, like a big lump sum, through the courts. But we didn't have to get new law. We didn't have to pay any specialists to come in to do it. It was just using the civil law that we've already got. But they're doing this massive online harms bill, and like I said, even America are like, they're impressed, but UK, like I just think it's massive. It's massive what they're attempting to deal with everything in one, and this is to protect kids, racism. So
and for me that is great. I'm going to be maybe controversial when it comes to the genre of drill music, yeah. And don't get me wrong, may I first say there are some real gory, grimy ones that they don't need to be even made, especially when they're, highlighting crimes and stuff that they've committed, like openly and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? But I remember growing up, and at a specific time of night, there was a specific place where you could hear that specific genre of music. Jenny Francis used to do the wind down, the slow down zone.
Yeah.
It's always going to be there. It's like, white football hooliganism videos, films, they're constantly being made. It's going to still be there. Would it be better if they amended or made a bill to say, there's like some type of watershed even for that genre, minus the gritty, grimy, disgusting ones? Because, you're a DJ, we like music, we know good artists. Some of these youths are informing some. It's not all highlighting what they've done. There's a good few artists, no, they're not conscious as such, but some of them are, because the beat makes them sound otherwise. If we sometimes listen to what some of these young people are really saying, that's how they're telling us what we need to do to make it better for them. That's how they're putting their story across to us. So I don't like when my sons are in the morning sometimes, they might listen to Radio 1 with flipping, having their breakfast, and Swish It, Ching It, Clang It, Twist It comes on, and there's all of that. But would it be better to kind of try to push it into one place rather than, obviously you've got to give people a reason to do that. So maybe, telling them that you'll get that fine, but it's not going to stop the music being made. It's still not going to stop the crimes from happening. It's still not going to stop anything. It's just going to cost people money.
We just need quality control. That's what we came up with on this podcast. We've had loads and loads of people, contributing all about this. We've got social media, the music. They need, but the record labels are promoting
Yeah,
the killing,
definitely.
they could switch up, right? But they're not, because it's making money. But all of that, you know, it's giving the artists the impression they have to do that to get the money, which literally that's what it's looking like.
But
They
I
need
think
to
some
have
of these
control.
artists don't even need record labels to do that as well.
Yeah,
So it's still a catch-22, because if you remove the need from the label, that artist is still in the world, and all
yeah,
they have
but
to,
mhm.
all they have to do, like there's an underground everywhere. It's gonna go. What might happen with that is the ones that are baiting themselves up, they're just gonna go into like an underground kind of platform.
A lot of the problem with the drill side of things is the promotion on the social media that's making retaliation, right? We've
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
huge
that's what I
problem
don't
with
agree with.
retaliation,
Definitely.
right?
Yeah.
So for that purpose, the talking about killing, you've already killed a young person, but you're going on past that, you're going to kill their mum, you're going to rape their niece.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
lyrics we discussed, like,
That gory stuff
yeah,
obviously is like,
but that was lyrics off, I'm going to say the name because we talked about him a bit, Fumer's Engineer, right? That was on, and it's got millions of views. Now that, right, so I mean, I support real artists, right?
yeah, and
That
that's what,
speak
yeah.
out
Oh yeah.
and they talk about their life, they talk about what
Yes.
they've done,
Yes.
but they are now saying it's not the right way, right? I don't want young people to follow that. I'm telling you there's a different way. And
Yeah.
that's why I started doing what I did like
Mm-hmm.
9 years ago, nearly
Mm-hmm.
10. And that's what I've always done, push positive messages.
Definitely.
I believe the music needs quality control. I'm
Mm-hmm.
quite happy to do it if
Yeah,
they'd let
but
me.
that you do it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but on a
You are
larger scale.
mindful because you listen to the lyrics. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're not watching views and stuff like that. And that's where the big stations are getting themselves into problems, because I don't necessarily know if some of them
Listen.
are listening to the lyrics, because some of the DJs aren't even from an area that resonates with what's happening here. They're just listening to the beat.
And this is a lot of problems because some of the beats, they're so sick. You're like, yeah, because, you know, I've done it myself. And I'm just saying,
And then you're like, whoa,
no, I
whoa,
can't.
hold on.
No, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So, but yeah, like I fully understand, you know, I'm all for artists that speak out on, you know, what they've been through, you know, what they did, but not promote it. I don't promote it, won't promote it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think going forward, changes have to happen. This can't continue how it's carrying on. I watched a really good, it was online, and the guy was talking about drill music, and you know, like where it come from, Chicago.
Yeah.
But what it did, they actually researched the communities where the drill is being played and is popular, and those communities are in trouble.
Yeah.
Those particular. So he actually linked it all to that, you know, to actual communities. But I mean, I've never been one to just, you know, ban it, you know, because I understand there's other issues with doing that.
No, definitely. But it's the same as, you know, young people playing Call of Duty and being exposed to Call of Duty, Fortnite. Even with me, like, I'm not gonna lie, I got pressured by my young son to play Fortnite. And then when I saw how he was coming off the computer and how snappy he was, I do get the contributing factors that when, you know, like what you said with the Chicago documentary, a group of people in the area listening, doing, and the same thing, you do start to, especially in the line of work that you're in, you are going to start to see the pattern. There definitely is a pattern with it. But like what you said prior as well about picking your artists, if they're genuine artists and they are real with what they're saying, but not promoting the violence, I just hope that the bill doesn't affect those type of artists just because of the beat they're on, or so to speak, because sometimes they might make that tune on that beat to attract to ear.
It's going to
hear
take
what they're saying, you know.
It's going to take years, Aisha. You see, from even when they get the legislation in, right? just for them to get definitions together, we're looking at years. So
Why
we're not
so
even,
long? Don't these definitions exist already in the world
no, not actually, you
in
know, like,
regards to
because it's all
music?
brand new, right? This is all brand new. It's a new bill. They've never done anything to cope with social media,
Yeah,
right?
but harm and neglect and stuff like that, they've got stuff around that in
Yeah,
like,
but I think it was to do with that bill. Hang on, it's to do with individual. But what the specialists were saying, what about the actual community? Like, it's
hmm
only specific to, they put it this way. Once I started watching the parliamentary thing, and believe you me, I watched it, I spent a lot of hours, right? Because I wanted to know. I've reached out to so many people to try and, you know, find out what the law is it going to actually help what's going on. So where I listened to lots of specialists, and yeah, that they were pointing out a lot of the issue, you know, that's going to take time. So it's not going to be an instant, you know, like soon, you know, in the next, I don't know, month, say a year,
couple
yep,
of,
it's
yeah.
going to be happening. It's going to be a lot of tweaking, and then Parliament shut half of the year, isn't it?
Shows how much they care, isn't it?
That's what I mean. They're on holiday now.
Shows you how much they care. And that's part of also the problem, because the language that they use to each other is just as aggressive. You know, there was was it drill minister? Had
Oh
a
yeah, yeah.
political drilling. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we all have to take accountability, and everyone needs to change. Everyone who has capacity needs to change their ways for the better if they really want
Yeah.
better,
And
you
now,
know.
yeah, like time is of the essence. Like it needs to be now.
Yeah,
And I wanted to
definitely.
ask you, because I remember, I'm sure a few years back, I spoke to Renee, and I think it was the time we were doing the nationwide Your City Says No.
hmm
And I remember looking into getting emergency laws, you know, like how they've done the COVID, right?
hmm
And that was done in a few days, and they managed to get all this law through, right?
hmm
I'm sure I spoke to Renee about it years ago, because I've always said it's so long to try and do a petition, then try and get, you know, and then what? Then it's got to go through all the parliament stages, and then you're looking at, but hang on, we need this now, right?
hmm
Whatever it is, we need it now. So, like, do you know how we? Because I'm sure she told me that it was. You have to prove that it's a nationwide issue. As far as I'm
Well,
concerned,
like with
this is.
COVID, it was a public health approach to everything, wasn't it?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I personally feel like this cause is
Yeah.
definitely, if we was to look at the numbers, it would just be ridiculous, isn't it? So I'm sure that,
Yeah.
you know, based on the science,
Yeah.
I believe it's already that important. I believe it's
Yeah.
already a public health approach that should be taken on this, because it's affecting people physically, mentally,
Yeah. Well,
and
you
also,
do know. You do know, yeah, that they got the law in for the public health approach 2 years ago. Did you know that?
no,
And yeah, and what I discovered was that we're already into, I think this is the second year, they haven't even started. So we know that takes 10 years. I mean, I was
so
grateful that they've already done the online harms bill.
mhm.
So at least that was in motion. I'm grateful that they started that whenever they did, you know, and that's why I thought I better try and check, because I'm not convinced, you know, like the weapons side of things. Like, I mean, what are they? There's been no talk of going for the manufacturers, going for the actual companies that make the weapons. These weapons don't appear in our areas, in certain areas.
Should
They
kind of
come from
roll
them.
on with the bill with the music. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like, really, it's that bill could really be stretched wisely if they think about it, because it's the
yeah.
same things. The manufacturer, why are you making those things? That it's like some of those knives are just like,
Oh my God, I know. When I
right.
checked them
I
out on
think,
that,
what realm are these kids in? Because these things are like things that you'd see in Dungeons and Dragons and
mm,
flipping Lord of the Rings and shit. Like, there's
yeah,
some big ass things. Like, what realm are you in? What demons
yeah.
are you fighting?
And the price of them, like, how they're so cheap. When I said to
Yeah.
my friend about it, she said, "You know why, don't you?" And I was like, "No." She said, "Because our children are the product."
It's all a bit deep, and it's like we're on live. We'll have another conversation. So I'm quite a spiritual person as well. Do you see what I'm saying? So like my spirit leads me in what I'm doing. This is what I know that I have to do.
Me too.
And things like that, it, you know, you saying that, it made me get a bit goosebumpy. Do you know what I mean?
Got it as well. Yeah.
Because you've got to, sometimes when you look behind the companies and the people that own these companies, or who they're related to, or who they're friends with, maybe this is why nothing's been getting done.
Yeah. So we'll have another talk. I need to go loo soon. But it has been amazing.
I wasn't meant to be on for so long.
I know. I'm so lucky and so grateful that you did come on today. So really, thank you. Right?
Oh, thank
it's been
you.
a brilliant conversation. Right? Definitely. You know, I'm fully supporting everything that you do. All right? Keep up the amazing work. Right? I'm so proud of you. Right? And Renee as well.
Sis, okay? Definitely.
All right, definitely. So big up to everybody that joined us today as well. Yeah, Amina, thank you for all your input as well. You've put loads on there as well, so big up to you. So Amina's saying as well about the COVID legislation came through real quick. It certainly did, and they threw in some extra bits as well that no one was expecting. There's nothing to do with COVID. Yeah. I tell you what, it's mad, but I'm just thankful that we're all working together, right?
Definitely, and this is the art of remote working. You see, dear, do you know what I mean?
Yes. Enough love to you, all right?
And you, babe, you take care, yeah.
All right.
Speak soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
See you, darling. Bye. Oh, that was fantastic. All right, I'm just going to quickly read out the messages from you, Amina. Big up to VIP London. Right, quickly read these out. Right, Amina says the fines, instead that they leave them to make this music because they know that it's part of the school to prison pipeline. Right, we certainly do. We've discussed that quite a bit on our other podcasts, so please check out previous podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, right? We're on YouTube as well. Let the Youth Live. Okay. But that's something else that we want to get onto the government about. We want to change the law to do with that. I just want to put it out there as well that they're building more prisons, right? Just what we don't need. Okay. But they're spending a lot of money on new prisons. The government fining radio stations and social media platforms is just the government getting a drink. You are bang on there, Amina. Right, H2O, big up to you. Amina says, even that Netflix doc, the 13th, highlights the whole prison system and how it's been set up. Yep. Right, I'm just going to say, I want to put this out there into the universe again, okay? Everything as it is now is exactly the way it is meant to be, the way the system has been set up. Everything as it is exactly the way it's been set up. So we, as a unit, have to make that change. We can make changes. The system has been set up for people to make changes to it. All right. So that's something. If somebody wants to write to their MP about the prison to, you know, the pipeline to prison, the school system, we're definitely putting something together. So please let me know your interest on that, people. Amina says, even though it's based on the American justice system, it's just as much a reflection of what happens here. It's funny how they banged the legislation together for COVID. Yep, so quickly. The numbers are there. Office of National Statistics. That's who they need to be fining, the people selling the weapons. Yep. I'm going to do the school run. Leash, I'm calling you in 5. Bye. Big up to you, Amina, as well. Right, I just want to thank my special guest today for joining us. That was absolutely lovely to get you on, Aisha. Big up the Safe Zones, so please follow them up, support what they're doing. We want to push what they're doing across the UK. All these initiatives need to go out into all towns and cities across the UK. Right, thank you all for joining me. I don't know what happened to my other two co-hosts today, all right? But we will join you hopefully next week, all right, for the next podcast. But have a blessed day, all right? Enough love to you all, okay?